40 million years ago, long before humans walked the earth, long before mammoths roamed the tundra or saber-toothed cats stalked their prey, there was a giant that towered over all other mammals. This was Paraceratherium, the hornless rhinoceros, the largest land mammal ever known. In the open landscapes of the Oligocene epoch, stretching across what is now Asia, this colossal creature shaped its world in ways that would echo through time. Today, we can only imagine its presence, reconstruct its form from the stones and bones left behind. But in its day, Paraceratherium was the undisputed giant of the mammalian kingdom. Paraceratherium was unlike any animal we know today. Though it belonged to the rhinoceros family, it had no horns. Its body was longer than a bus, nearly 8 meters from head to tail, and it stood over 5 meters tall at the shoulder. Its long, muscular neck allowed it to reach leaves and branches that no other herbivore could touch, giving it a unique niche in its ecosystem. Its weight, between 15 and 20 tons, made it heavier than any modern elephant, and yet it moved with a calm, deliberate grace. Its legs were like columns, thick and sturdy, supporting a frame of unbelievable size. When it walked across the ancient grasslands, the ground trembled beneath it. This giant thrived in environments that combined open plains with scattered woodlands. It was a browser, feeding on shrubs and the highest leaves of trees. With its flexible lips, it stripped branches clean, shaping the vegetation wherever it traveled. Smaller mammals would have fed on the plants closer to the ground, always mindful of the towering shadows of Paraceratherium above them. Its long neck was its greatest advantage, giving it access to food that others could never reach. This ecological role made it a keystone of its time, controlling plant growth and spreading seeds across vast distances. As it moved, dust rose around its legs, birds fluttered into the air, and entire herds shifted in response to its presence. Despite its size, Paraceratherium was not a predator. It lived peacefully, feeding slowly, conserving energy. But its massive body was also its greatest defense. Few creatures dared to challenge it. Packs of large carnivores may have lingered at the edges of herds, eyeing the young or the weak, but one snort, one display of power from an adult Paraceratherium, and they would retreat. The sight of its head lowering, its chest pushing forward, and its sheer size was enough to deter all but the most desperate attackers. In the Oligocene world, size was survival, and Paraceratherium had mastered that art. Life for these giants was not only about survival, but also about family. Fossil evidence suggests that, like modern elephants, Paraceratherium may have lived in small groups. Mothers cared for their calves, guiding them to food, shelter, and safety. A calf, though already large by mammalian standards, would have been vulnerable without its mother. In the open grasslands, where predators lurked, the protective presence of the herd was everything. Imagine the sight, a mother and her young walking side by side, her colossal shadow shielding her calf as it grazed clumsily, its small lips learning to tear leaves from the shrubs. Birds would perch on the mother's back, hopping along as she walked, feeding on insects stirred up by her massive frame. It was a gentle moment in an otherwise immense and imposing existence. Yet Paraceratherium was not confined to one place. It was a traveler, a nomad of the ancient plains. Herds migrated across vast distances, following the rhythms of the seasons. Rivers were crossed, dust clouds rose behind them, and each step left a mark in the earth. Imagine standing on a ridge, looking out across a valley as a herd of these giants moves slowly beneath the golden sun. Their long necks sway, their legs rise and fall in unison, and their silhouettes stretch across the horizon. This was not just a herd of animals, it was the pulse of an ecosystem, moving with ancient purpose across the land. But even giants are not eternal. As millions of years passed, the world began to change. Climate shifts reshaped the landscapes where Paraceratherium once thrived. Forests thinned, grasslands spread, and the vegetation they relied on grew scarce in certain regions. The delicate balance of food, water, and shelter was disrupted. Populations declined, not from a single catastrophe, but from a slow, relentless change in the world around them. Like so many great creatures of Earth's history, Paraceratherium faded from existence, leaving only silence where once there had been giants. The Oligocene plains lost their towering browsers, and their disappearance echoed in the ecosystems that followed. For millions of years, their bones lay hidden, buried under layers of earth and stone. Time transformed them into fossils, turning once living tissue into rock-hard remains. In dusty corners of deserts and ancient riverbeds, pieces of their story waited to be found. And then, in the modern age, paleontologists began to uncover them. Imagine a dig site under the blazing sun, a team of scientists carefully brushing away dirt to reveal a skull more than a meter long. Vertebrae stretch back through the trench, each bone massive, each fragment a clue to a life long vanished. Leg bones, thick as tree trunks, rise from the sediment, dwarfing the people who work to free them. Flags mark the outline of the skeleton, grids measure its position, and cameras record the moment history resurfaces. It is a scene of patience, precision, and awe. As more fossils were discovered, the image of Paraceratherium became clearer. Scientists reconstructed its skeleton, piece by piece, until it stood once more in museums across the world. Visitors today stand in those halls, craning their necks to look up at its towering frame. Children point in amazement, adults stand speechless, all dwarfed by the sheer scale of bones that tell of a creature far beyond imagination. Spotlights illuminate the fossilized bones, casting shadows that remind us of the immense presence this animal once had. From ground to gallery, from dust to display, the journey of Paraceratherium is one of science, history, and wonder. To compare it with modern animals is almost unfair. An elephant, the largest land mammal alive today, looks small beside it. A giraffe may match its height at the head, but not its bulk or power. Even the largest rhinos of today, with their sharp horns and muscular frames, are but a fraction of what Paraceratherium once was. And yet, despite its size, it was not a beast of destruction, but a gentle browser. It lived not by force, but by balance with its environment. It was, in many ways, a symbol of nature's ability to create life in extraordinary forms. A true giant, but also a peaceful one. As the sun sets on this story, imagine once more the sight of a Paraceratherium walking across the horizon. Its silhouette glows against the orange sky, its long neck reaching for the last branches of the day. Birds circle overhead, the plains stretch into the distance, and the giant moves forward, step by step, into the fading light. Then, slowly, the image fades. The plains are empty, the giant is gone, and only the wind remains. But in stone, in memory, and in the halls of our museums, it endures. Paraceratherium, the hornless giant, the largest land mammal that ever lived. A reminder that Earth's past is filled with wonders, and that even the mightiest can vanish, leaving behind only silence and the fossils that whisper their story.